Formaji YouTube video k lia oper jo tum ny story lik kdhs k oper tai men strong hook lik k do. Hook jandar. Suspenseful our curiosity si barpor hona chaye k mary vauer engage ho jn our video ko ntk deck and the window near my desk always caught the evening light. Shadows stretched across the walls, dancing with the sway of the trees outside. I leaned back in my chair, feeling the smooth wood beneath my fingers. A sudden chill brushed against my neck, though the room felt warm. I turned slowly toward the window, drawn by a movement that was almost too subtle to notice. The street outside was empty, but the reflection in the glass seemed alive. Something shifted behind me, just at the corner of my vision. My heartbeat quickened, echoing in my ears louder than usual. The light outside dimmed, or perhaps it was my eyes adjusting too slowly. A faint tapping sounded against the glass, soft, irregular, like a warning. I froze, senses straining, every shadow stretching longer, darker, closer. Then I saw it, a face, pale and unfamiliar, pressed against the window, just beyond the desk. Its eyes were wide, empty, staring directly into mine without blinking. The room felt smaller, heavier, as if the walls themselves were leaning in. I wanted to scream, but my voice refused to form. The figure raised a hand slowly, almost deliberately, and pointed at me. And then it vanished, leaving the window reflecting only my own terrified face. I blinked, hoping it was a trick of the light. But the chill remained, crawling along my spine, and the faint tapping began again. The faint tapping continued, echoing softly through the room. I could hear my own breathing, sharp and uneven, rattling in the silence. The window reflected only my pale, wide-eyed face. I told myself it was nothing, just my imagination, a trick of exhaustion. But then the shadows moved differently, almost as if they had intent. I stood up slowly, each step sounding too loud on the wooden floor. The tapping stopped abruptly. Silence fell, thick and suffocating. My hand hovered over the desk, gripping the edge as if it could keep me anchored. A cold draft brushed my arm, though the window was closed. I glanced around the room, the familiar corners now strange and menacing. The walls seemed closer, tighter, pressing in. Then a whisper, barely audible, slipped through the air. I could not tell if it came from outside or inside my head. It said nothing clearly, only a sound like breath through teeth. My skin prickled, every hair on my arms stood straight. I tried to convince myself it was the wind, or a tree branch against the window. But instinct screamed that this was something else. I moved toward the window, my hand trembling as I reached for the curtain. Pulling it aside slowly, I half expected to see the empty street again. But the reflection remained. A face, still pale, staring with wide, hollow eyes, pressed against the glass. It did not move except for its eyes, shifting to follow me as I stepped back. I stumbled over my chair, my heart hammering, my ears ringing. The tapping resumed, louder now, more deliberate. I could feel the vibrations through the floorboards beneath my feet. I stepped away from the desk, seeking the safety of the room's center. The reflection smiled suddenly. It was wrong, unnatural, too wide, stretching beyond human limits. I could feel my stomach turn. My eyes darted around, searching for an escape. Every door in the room seemed farther away than it should be. The shadows on the floor began to twist, forming shapes that looked like crawling hands. I swallowed hard, trying not to scream, but the room seemed to constrict around me. The reflection raised a hand again. This time it pressed, its palm against the glass as if it could reach me through it. I stumbled backward, hitting the wall with my shoulder. The tap-tap-tap of fingers on glass became a steady rhythm, like a heartbeat. Then the window rattled, small tremors running along the frame. A cold mist seemed to seep from the edges of the glass, curling into the room. I coughed, the air tasting metallic, thick. I wanted to look away, to close my eyes and pretend it was gone. But some compulsion forced me to stare. The figure's face began to morph, features stretching and twisting, changing shape. It grinned, showing teeth that seemed too long, too sharp. And then, without warning, it vanished. I blinked, shaking my head. The room was quiet again, but the air still heavy with something unplaceable. I forced myself to breathe, to convince myself it was over. Then I heard it behind me. Soft steps on the floor, deliberate, pacing closer. I spun around. Nothing. Only the desk, the chair, the quiet hum of the computer. I exhaled slowly, trying to calm my racing heart. Then I felt it. A cold hand, impossibly light, brushing the back of my neck. I whirled, but no one was there. The chair tipped over on its own, scraping against the floor. The window rattled violently, shivering as if something outside was pounding from within. I backed toward the door, my hands trembling. The tapping began again, but now it was inside the room. I could hear it on the walls, the ceiling, the floor, everywhere at once. I stumbled, tripping over the edge of the rug, my palms slamming against the floor. The figure's face appeared in the darkness, floating, shifting, staring. Its eyes burned with an unnatural intensity. It whispered my name, and then the lights flickered. Every shadow in the room seemed to surge toward me, pulsing, alive. I scrambled to the door, my fingers fumbling with